I fell away
Okay.
from the faith and everything in college, especially. And there was one time that it got really bad for me.
Mm-hmm.
I was breaking up with my high school girlfriend. We were in college. We kind of drifted apart, and I was in a bad place. And I'm going to date myself here, but Pope John Paul II was in the Philippines for World Youth Day that year.
Oh, wow.
And World Youth Day in the Philippines is a huge thing. Millions of people come out, literally millions come out to the street to see him and the parade and everything, or the mass at the grandstand. Anyway, I was not in a good place at the time. And I remember there was a terrorist group that was threatening to kill him. And it was big news too that the terrorist group was threatening to kill him. They didn't want anything to happen because it would have been embarrassment for the Philippines. And my family was watching the parade on television. It was a huge event. So everyone was gathered around the television except for me, and I come up to the television and they're all watching it. And me being trying to be edgy, I guess, or a smart aleck, I come up and I say, and I'm so embarrassed that I said this, but I said, "Did they get him yet?" Oh. And I cannot forget the look on my dad's face.
Wow.
It was like, I can't even describe the look on his face.
Yeah.
And that's how far I had fallen.
Yeah.
But then a couple years later, after I was in a bit of a better place, I had emceed. It was one of my first emceeing gigs. I'd emceed like a contest in UST, and one of the priests, he'd seen me MC, and I guess he was impressed. And when I passed by, because it was Ash Wednesday, what they did at the campus ministry was they had the priest just standing out there giving people ashes.
Can we get your tag? Just give me your Catholic tag.
Yeah, so I saw one of my classmates. I said, "Where'd you get that? Did you have to go to mass?" And he goes, "No, you just pass by the campus ministry. There's a priest standing right out there. He'll give you your ashes." So I go over there and I get my ashes, and he said, "You were the one that emceed the thing the other night." I was like, "Yeah." He goes, "I need you to do something for me."
Oh, wow.
I was like, "What's that?" He was like, "I need you to do a voiceover for me." This was for like sort of a mini retreat that they had, like a praise and worship type thing that they had for freshmen. Now, when I was a freshman going through it, I was like, I don't want to be here,
Of course.
I hated it. At one point, I even made an excuse to leave early. I said, I got to go to work. Yeah, that's how bad it was. But then, fast forward a few years, the priest is asking me, can you do the voiceover for Jesus? We're going to put Jesus's face up on the screen, and we want you to speak for him, say his words.
Wow.
And
at this point, had you wanted to go into voiceover? Is this something you had thought about?
This was the first experience I ever had. And I remember I went with my girlfriend at the time, and I did it several times. But one time I went with my girlfriend at the time, and I did the voiceover. I thought nothing of it. I looked at her, and she was crying.
Wow.
She said that was really powerful. And I didn't even realize at the time, how important a gig that was.
Yeah.
I thought it was just, okay, I get to read, kind of a little self-centered too,
I'm the main character.
Your ego, I didn't realize there were a couple of times I didn't show up to do it because, I was busy,
wow.
Even though I didn't have class. But yeah.
And was she Catholic?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, she also helped me, with my faith. Just having friends who are really faithful, it really helps. And
community.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
Crucial.
Exactly.
So you're in the Philippines, going to university at this point, start emceeing.
Yeah, and I had a huge MC gig also. Probably one of the biggest MC gigs that I ever did was the baccalaureate mass for when I was a junior.
Oh, wow.
What they did was they decided we'll do one, instead of separate baccalaureate masses for the different colleges of the university, they said we're going to get the entire university, the entire graduating batch of the university to come for one huge baccalaureate mass. So it looked like the mass when the Pope was there.
Oh my gosh.
Because it was the grandstand and then the whole soccer field filled with all the students, all their parents, and all of the professors.
Yeah.
And it was the biggest gig that I think I'd ever done.
Wow.
Yeah. And of course, I didn't really understand how important it was.
It's funny how like all these things, you're doing all these gigs, all these voiceovers, all surrounded by Catholic things.
Yeah. One thing I remember about that was the priest, the one who gave me the ashes and got me for that gig. He was making fun of me after the mass because I had 2 major goof ups during that mass. The first one was right before the priest says, "I confess to Almighty God." I was so nervous, I said it before he did. He was still doing that thing and he goes,
Just on the microphone?
Yeah.
Starting it for everyone?
Yeah, he's supposed to start it, right? I'm supposed to wait for the priest to say it.
Correct.
But I was so nervous. I'm like, "I confess to Almighty God and to you, my brothers." Something to that.
Nice.
And then the second thing the second major goof up, and when you're an MC or a voice talent, you always remember the bad things.
Of course.
And the other, and of course that priest, he never let me live it down.
I wouldn't have let you leave it down either.
During the consecration, I was standing there. I'm like, do I kneel? Do I not kneel? I'm up on stage because everyone else is priest. I'm the only one who's not a priest on the stage.
So wait, why were you on stage at a mass?
Because I was the lector or something. I don't know. I was behind the lectern, and I was they wanted me to read everything that
the responses for the faithful.
Yeah. So I was there, and so I was up on stage, and this consecration, and I'm like, do I kneel? Do I not kneel? And he said, and I came down from the stage after the whole thing. He was like, you were so unsure whether or not you wanted to kneel.